Planet Dolan.
From knocking over a baby stroller to treating fellow roommates like slaves, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the most entitled behavior we've ever seen. I'm Paprika, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Caramel Crossing. One time, Pringle and his parents met a family friend for a day of shopping. In one store, Pringle saw a CD he wanted and snatched it up since it was the last one on the rack. After buying a few more CDs, he left his cart to get some donuts. While buying his donuts, he noticed that the family friend was pushing his cart away. He ran up to her and asked what the hell she thought she was doing. The family friend answered, "My kid loves this band, and she deserves it more than you." Rightfully pissed off, Pringle took the cart from her and wheeled it away. She screamed, "That man stole my kid's CDs!" Security went up to Pringle, who showed them his receipts. Then the family friend ended up being escorted into a holding room by security for trying to steal Pringle's CDs. But she escaped and went after Pringle, who had loaded his stuff in his car. He tried to drive away, but the family friend put a banana in his tailpipe. So Pringle got out of the car and knocked her out in the middle of the parking lot. He then took the banana out of his tailpipe and drove away. Number 9 was submitted by Sarah XXX. Pecan and her sister were standing outside a store one day. Suddenly, her sister's baby began to cry because it was hungry. So her sister took her out of the stroller and began to bottle feed her. The stroller was in the path, but wasn't completely blocking it. People could easily go around. Then an old lady walking with a cane came up and yelled, "Get out of my way!" Of course, Pecan's sister was too occupied feeding her baby and couldn't do anything about it. Before Pecan could move the stroller, the annoyed old lady grabbed it and knocked it over. Pecan was so pissed that she was so tempted to kick the cane out from under that old lady. Instead, she yelled, "Hobble faster, you hag! I'll give you a head start before I catch up and ram that stick up your ass!" Number 8 was submitted by Wing679. Derek was doing some Black Friday shopping in Walmart one time. He was in the electronics aisle when he saw a little girl with her mother. The girl wanted a 55-inch TV, but her mother told her no because it was too much money. The girl asked again and again. Her mother said no. The girl screamed, "If you don't buy it for me, I will fucking take that umbrella and shove it up your ass!" Derek and everyone else in the electronics section heard the girl scream at her mother, making their jaws drop. The mother told the girl that she definitely wasn't getting that TV now because of her bad behavior. Then she told her daughter to use her money to buy a new Christmas tree for the house. The girl refused and said, "You buy it yourself, you ugly cunt!" The mother flipped out and told her daughter that they weren't buying anything and then left the store. Number 7 was submitted by Miraculous Foxy Lady. Andy was living in a room for rent. One day, a new girl came in to live with them. Andy and her other roommates didn't really have any control over who lived with them, so they didn't have a say in the matter. Their new roommate proved to be a handful. The first night she was there, she ordered Andy to cook her food, but she refused. After calling her some colorful slurs, the roommate said, "Slaves have no right to deny me." Andy stared at her for a moment before yelling, "America hasn't had slaves in almost 200 years, and I'm your roommate, you idiot!" So she ordered another roommate to cook her food, and she obliged. Over time, the girl would also spit on the floors, walk around naked, puke on things, and make messes that everyone but her had to clean up. Andy and her other roommates wouldn't do anything for her. Because of that, the girl kept calling the landlord, telling him that her slaves weren't listening. One night while Andy was asleep, the girl went into her room and dumped trash on her because she didn't take out the garbage. Eventually, the landlord forced the entitled brat to move out. Number 6 was submitted by A Grim Fate. One time, Melissa lived with one of her friends while trying to find a place of her own. Her friend's husband seemed to think she was hot. While her friend was at work one day, her husband stayed home. He sat down next to Melissa and touched her arm, telling her how attractive she was. She pushed him away and asked, what are you doing?" He smirked and then said, "What? You live here. Any woman who lives with a man has to offer herself to him." Then he leaned in to kiss her, but Melissa bolted to the door and said, "I'm not interested." Her friend's husband just smiled. "Everyone knows that if a woman lives with a man, he's entitled to have his way with her," he said. After grabbing her bag and her purse, Melissa said, "You know, I'd rather live on the streets." With that, she left. Number 5 was submitted by Fiery Surge. Mimi's mom gave her $10 to pick up some things at the local store. She went to the store, got the items, and waited in line at the register. There was an old lady in front of her checking out. It turned out the old lady was $4 short, so Mimi lent the lady her rewards card. However, the card only gave the lady $2 off. Since she had some money left over, Mimi gave the lady $2. The lady thanked her profusely before leaving the store. After Mimi checked out, she began to leave when she heard a woman call out to her. Thinking it was the cashier, she turned around and saw it was a fellow customer. Apparently, she wanted Mimi to scan her rewards card for her as well, just so she could save a few cents. Being nice, Mimi obliged and scanned her card for her. However, the woman was unable to save money because there were no discounts when buying cigarettes. Mimi apologized and started to leave when the woman grabbed her shirt and pulled her back. She said, "You gave that old hag some money, so just give me some." Mimi said, she was short $2 and was polite. The woman said, "Who are you to talk back to an adult like that?" Upset but not wanting to cause a scene, Mimi just left the store. Number 4 was submitted by Mystic Tulip. Tolop has an 8-year-old cousin who's deaf but wears a hearing aid and can read lips. One day, they went shopping for her upcoming birthday. Her cousin was hungry, so they went into the food court to get something to eat. While Tolop went to order the food, her cousin sat at a table and played a game on her DS. Just then, a little boy grabbed the DS out of her hand. She screamed for Tolop, who rushed over there and tore the DS out of the little boy's hand. She yelled at the boy to not touch her cousin's DS. The little boy ran to his mother while Tolop comforted her cousin, who was upset. Suddenly, the little boy's mother stomped over and yelled, "Why the hell was your daughter being so rude to my son? He only asked if he could have a turn playing the game thing, and she just ignored him." Tolop told the mother that she was her cousin, and that she was deaf and probably didn't notice her son. The mother cut off Tolop by saying, "Well, it's pretty obvious she doesn't deserve to play any sort of game if she's deaf. Why don't you just give my son her game, and I won't sue you for child abuse?" Shocked, Tolop told the woman to go to hell, took her cousin by the hand, and went somewhere else. Number 3 was submitted by Devil's Snapback. In college, Salty Squid took an art class with around 25 people, 2 of which were mother and son. The first class project was to shade a ball. It was simple stuff that most of the class had finished before it was due. The mother hadn't finished hers because she was too busy helping her adult son with his assignment. One day after class, Salty Squid stayed late to ask about a different project and supplies that he needed for the project. But the mother was already talking to the teacher. So Salty Squid waited, overhearing the entire conversation. "You can't drop my grade. I helped my son, so I did all the same stuff," she said. "Your project wasn't finished by the deadline. I cannot give you the points, but I can give you a few if you turn it in late," said the teacher. "But I need the full points. I deserve the points," said the mother. "You didn't finish on time. As a matter of fact, your son got a D- because you admitted to working on his with him," said the teacher. The mother said, "That is an irrelevant fact. I should get bonus points for doing his work." When the teacher told her no, she stormed out of the classroom. She quit the class and made her son quit too, despite the fact that he was a very good artist. Number 2 was submitted by Morty Smith 762. One day, Spinal Palm and his friend went to the park. While there, they decided to hang out on the swings. A lady with a young son came up to them and kindly asked if her kid could play on the swings. Spinal Palm said, "Sorry, no, but there's a baby swing over there." The woman yelled, "No, I want this swing." She pointed to the swing Spinal Palm was on, which was designed for older kids. His friend told the woman to calm down, but then she told him to calm down. "Ma'am, please stop harassing us," said Spinal Palm. The woman told him to swing on the baby swing while her son took his swing. Spinal Palm eventually gave in and let her son swing on his swing. Almost immediately, the kid fell flat on his face. Spinal Palm helped him up, but the lady hit him on the head. Pissed off, he yelled, "You are a stupid parent and you harassed us!" Number 1 was submitted by Satellite Owl. Ramona used to have a trashy, entitled neighbor whose daughter kept trying to steal things from her. When her mother tried telling the neighbor daughter's mother, she said, "If my kids want them, she can have them. It's your daughter who shouldn't share, so my kid deserves things even more. Your daughter is just spoiled rotten." 3 days later, Ramona went outside to get the mail when the neighbor's daughter came up and began to hit her and pull her hair. She dropped the mail and soon it became a brawl. While the kid pulled her hair, Ramona started to swing so she wouldn't let go. Then the kid began biting, clawing, and scratching Ramona. The police eventually got involved, but no arrests were made due to lack of evidence. Thankfully, their entitled, trashy neighbors moved away a year later. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What is a weird thing you do when you're bored? Let us know in the Reddit page link below and you might be featured in a future countdown.
This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!